Comrades, I am Admiral Andre and welcome to the second part of the second scenario of the European campaign of Transport Fever. This is our current mission here, the endurance test. I just opened it up so long so that he could do his whole speech here, since we don't need to hear it again. So for this one, all that we really need to do is we have to stop a train with a load of 30 units on the test bridge. And you can see there's a little green circle there where we need to stop the train. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is related to one of the medals. Let's just have a look. Cross the test bridge with a total load of at least 60 units before the tests are concluded. Now, since we have to stop there with a load of 30 units, we might as well cross with 60. So that's a good way, I think, of getting that medal. Now, of course, they say if the Falkirk steel mill is no longer accepting coal, since that's the thing that we're shipping over this bridge, deliver steel to the Livingston machine factory, and it's because the steel needs to be shipped somewhere, otherwise the whole steel mill stops working. Then also they say conducting more than the required test is worthwhile, and that's of course, I think, a hint to say that we can earn a medal through that. We can also get the speed one, cross the bridge with a speed of at least 60, but I don't think we can combine that with 60 units of goods as well. So let's just have a look at our current train that serves this line, if we can find it, that is. It's going back right now, and it can carry 36 units. So I think the first thing that we have to do is send it back to the depot and just have it get some more of these wagons, just so that we can at least carry the required 60, otherwise there's really no point. I think it's also a good idea to do this because at the end of the day we're shipping more iron to the steel mill than coal, because the coal line is further to travel. There's more of a distance there, so the iron one is more frequent. So by carrying more, I think we can do some work to cancel that out. The other thing I noticed also once I started editing the last video, I think I'll pause this again since that other train has crossed the spur as well, so I can actually delete that. Actually, might not be necessary. I'll just tell the iron one to use this stop as a waypoint. But the thing that I'm getting at is here, these signals. Actually, I did it the wrong way around, so I should fix that. What I want is the passenger line must actually, or the passenger train must cross the signal before the goods train if they are at an equivalent distance from the crossing here. So that means the signals for the passenger train should be further away than the ones for the goods one. So let me just have a look at that. It won't really ever be an issue, I think, but let's avoid any problems. There, so now at any point when the passenger train crosses the signal, the other one has to wait right there. Perfect. So next thing to do, just to make sure this iron line never causes us a problem or a headache, I'm just going to say, let's say after Falkirk East, it doesn't matter, that is its waypoint. It does make sure that it doesn't go to the other line, since it stops at the same station. That can always be an issue if we aren't careful with that. Maybe I'll do the same after Livingston as well. There, now there can be no confusion ever, so I can leave this little cross track there. Okay, now that that's done, we can resume and just wait for the train to reach the depot where we can add some more of the cars. Hopefully there'll be 60 units of coal waiting by the time we get back, otherwise I'm going to have to tell the train to wait until it's full. Let me have some tea while I'm waiting here. Okay, it's basically there. We can pause just while we take care of this. So we've got 36 units right now. Let's just get the open wagon and coal at least 60. There we go, 60 exactly. Now I can just set it back to the coal line. Okay, let it run. Now, is it possible to tell it to wait until full? Yes, it is. So, Falkirk North is the station, and at that point I want it to wait until it's full load. So there's only one type of good on this train anyway, but I want it to be full. Then, as soon as it starts coming back here, we can just stop it right on the bridge there and hopefully then meet both of the requirements. Also a good idea to see what the speed is, but it's not going to be 60 kilometers an hour, I can promise you that, especially on the way back. So that medal is not coming now. I think, yes, it's going to be an issue. We'll probably just have to buy a separate single locomotive and have it run the route just that one time for the medal, because it's not going to happen with at least this locomotive. Unless I now buy a special one just for the speed again. I don't know. We'll see. Let's take care of this goal first. And there's some people waiting at Falkirk, so that's always encouraging. You see, it's at 45 now, so that is its top speed. This one is 50. We can't do the 60 right now anyway, since we don't have a train that's capable of going 60 kilometers an hour. So it's a moot point. But when it happens, I'll replace this locomotive. I don't think it's going to be helpful to buy a separate one just for that and then sell it again. So it's racing now all the way back. It's losing a bit of speed there, but that's not too bad. And it doesn't say which direction we need to be traveling to get the speed record. We just need to be going more than 60, or at least 60. Right now we have 60 already waiting there, so we won't even need to wait. And speaking of a new locomotive, the Class 89 Prussian T3 is available. And let's just have a look at its top speed. 40, no, it's because it's a very powerful train, as you can see, but it's not one that's made for speed, so that's not the one we're waiting for. Now I just have to pause the train, or to stop the train as soon as it crosses the bridge here, and hope it doesn't fall into the water. That's the whole point of this test, to just make sure the bridges can carry the weight here. Okay, stop.
Steel production is coming along beautifully, and thanks to the extensive data from the test runs, the construction of the bridge can finally begin. Let's go.
Deliver steel from the Falkirk steel mill to the construction site. So ultimately what's going to happen is, since we still have to make £1 million, let's say pounds, from the tools manufacturing, we're going to have to split the steel supplies between the construction site and the tools. Although on the other hand, we can just supply the bridge first and then the tools. I think that'll be better, since the bridge does have a time limit as well. So they say here now, the owner of the steelworks has a request. Click on the question mark to learn more. So that's a sort of a special thing there, and that's related to the ship medal. So let's just close this, and we did get the medal now for the 60 units, which is, I can just let it go, otherwise we're wasting time there. So that's something that I just didn't do before. I didn't do the effort of just adding a few extra cars there. So that was quite an easy one to get. So let's see, what does this owner of the steel mill want?
The owner of the steelworks has come to us with a request. He is joint owner of a shipping company, but business is going poorly because of the railroad. He has offered to reciprocate if we transport goods by ship.
So he has some other business on the side there, but it's not going so well, and it will go even worse once we finish the Forth bridge there. Deliver at least 100 units of any type of goods by ship. Ships are able to cross the blocked areas in the water, so that's a very useful thing. And a good buyer of steel is the machine factory near Livingston. So let's just see here. Now obviously that's this machine factory. So what we can do now, although I don't think that's a good idea, is we could ship the coal over the water to the mill here and then have some of the wagons carry it the rest of the way, but that doesn't make sense because we already have a bridge here. It's far better now to start shipping the steel, as they say here, for the bridge. So at this point I'm going to build a dock here. I can let it go on a bit of a slower speed. Let's just go to the marine tab here. So we can afford this, it's not a problem. And this would be a perfect place if it wasn't outside of the navigable waters. I would like to avoid getting an extra wagon to carry the goods now from the marina or the dock here to the factory or construction site. I wonder if that will reach. We have to confirm. Let's just get a small country road that branches off here and then somehow turns in there. I just need to know. Yes, it will cover. Alright, not a problem. Good, so there we go. At least the one side is done. Maybe we can use this for something else. If it wasn't a passenger station. Delete. Maybe we can use it for something else once the goods demand has been met. But I don't think so. Then we'll be using the bridge anyway. Terrain alignment, collision. It has to remove that thing now first. Oh well. There we go. No problems there. So, next thing is to find a place now. I think we should just pause for a moment, because the issue here is now we need the steel. And now they're saying ship more items, so they've stopped producing because the steel is not going anywhere. But to get to the water is now going to mean we need an extra wagon here. I wonder if we couldn't avoid the problem somehow by putting a station here and then connecting it to the water. I've never done that before. What I did last time was just to put the port here and then extend the train line. Maybe that will also work, since a ship is not the fastest thing. What's the elevation here? It's not the best thing. Yes, I think we're going to do that. Just because we can just extend the rail line from the depot there. Let's say there. I never like building a dock on an incline like that, but it's not too bad here. So all that we now have to do is decide where is the station going to go, and that's another challenge since it's this incline. I wonder if we could get it up to there. Whether that's going to be enough.
Good gracious. We're spending money like there's no
That's
tomorrow.
fine, just give us another loan.
Once our financial backers are willing to turn a blind eye and help us out once again. But this is definitely the last time.
I don't think we'll need any more. Okay, that definitely covers the waterfront area there. Unfortunately, again, it's making a bit of a gouge here in the landscape, so we can't really get away from that. But I think a train is definitely the answer here. Oh well, let's just put it straight through like that. And then connect somehow here. That's now the other thing. Shouldn't be a problem. I guess we can just share it with the iron line here. So we get into a bit more of the complexity now. Let's just see. Now it just has to go down this incline here, but it's not too bad. And it's a very short route, so that's okay. Now, let's have a look. We obviously have to create the line first, and that's from there. This is done firm line central, even though it's on the other side of the Firth there. I'll just say this is steel, since it's only a temporary line anyway. Then, since the iron one is going to have to wait here, a signal is quite essential. Right there, and the same thing on the other side. I'll just put it here. This little track there doesn't matter. So, do we have enough money now? I think we do. We just have to first maybe buy the ship, since that's kind of more important, since the whole thing comes crashing down without the ship. We'll put it on this side of the Firth. Or should I? Yes, let's do it. Just rotate it. I always like to put it on the side of the dock, collision though. We have to put it a bit further back. So it looks like it's part of the same structure. What is the price of one of these ships? We can go for one of the cheaper ones. So we have the Rigi here, that's passengers. This one is for fuel, and this is the one obviously that we want. Now this is part of the new patch that they released. We can now have more than one kind of item on a ship, which is a fantastic addition, I think. Before it was quite limiting since we could only use one item. Right now it's not an issue and we'll only be carrying one thing one way, so one of the ways will be empty. So I'm just going to say automatic, it's perfectly fine. And it does include steel, so purchase the ship, not too expensive. It's certainly less than the train. Then I think at first we should just create the route here before we buy the train. And this I'll just say Firth of Forth. Great, so the ship can at least start so that the train, once it gets running, it will recognize that there is a demand. Now, for this I'm going to buy the cheap one, I think. This is really not a problem because it's so short and we don't want to waste too much money here. So top speed of 40 is fine, and since it will be climbing up the hill empty, I think it's anyway not a problem. So which one do we want? We want the stake car, and I can just put steel. It doesn't really matter. I could leave it on automatic. Don't want to take too much here. Okay, since we're limited by our money anyway, that's going to be the extent of it. It will just have to make more trips, and it's faster anyway than the ship, so it isn't a problem. Now I think it's a case of waiting. It's the waiting game now. I'm not going to worry about the tools now. We just need all the steel for the bridge. And if we just have a look at the medal again, build the bridge before 1902. I think the real Firth of Forth bridge was finished or opened in 1890. So we're getting quite a bit of leeway here, which is fine, but I think we'll open it before then. Compartment car is now available, so once we start sending passengers over the new bridge, we can use that. A lot of people waiting here. It's a good thing, I think. So in a sense here, Livingston is becoming the midway point, since the people from Falkirk have to change platforms here. So we're bringing in some customers for the town. 41. It's not really at capacity yet. Well, not bad though. Only 8 more people. Actually less, 6 more people. I need to go back to my maths class. So yes, I think that will turn a nice profit for us. And the coal is piling up here, so the train shouldn't have to wait there too long for a refuel or a refill. Where's the new ship? There we go. Always like naming the ship, so what shall we name this? What's a good Scottish name? That's the good question, I don't know. Well, one of my ancestors actually came from Scotland in the early 1800s, and his name was Andrew Murray. So let's call this the Andrew Murray. There we go. He was from Aberdeenshire, I think. Some small village there near Aberdeen. What about the color? Since we can't do anything now, we have to wait. Let's see. No, something more cheerful, surely. Blue, dark blue. Yes, let's take this dark blue. It will not say steel yet because it hasn't picked up any. Only once it actually gets to the goods will it show the correct consist there. But the train is full, so that's a good thing. And it's pretty much reaching its full speed on the way down, since it's assisted by gravity there. Can speed it on full now. Great, so a bit of profit there. Let's have a look. We've already broken even. We just have to have a look if there is a need for more of the cars here. We can always buy one. We seem to have some money now, probably from the passengers. It's 23. Well, the ship can't carry that much, only 50, so 2 trips basically of the train. So I think what will happen in reality is we'll have a pile up here. Or is it 50? Yeah, it's 50, so one of the compartments is full now, basically. There goes the Andrew Murray. A lot of people waiting here. What's happening? Where's the train? Although it is quite a long route. Yes, so here we definitely need more coaches. I was right. One was not going to be enough. Let's buy 3 more. It's not a long route, of course, but it's long enough that people don't want to walk to the center of town, and I wouldn't want to either if I had the option. Why not? Well, let's take the coach. Oh, how did one of the old Morrowind characters say with the Silt Striders? Why walk when you can ride? Definitely at capacity there. Great stuff. So we're going to have a money maker with the passenger route. 25 out of 40. Not that many yet. Although this is quite a small town. Hopefully we can entice more people over time to take this train. Just have a look at the coverage. It's not perfect, but actually why not do something about it? Since we're waiting anyway, let's continue the roads here. Let's help out the town in that sense. And ourselves, of course. And just make like a big circle line. On this side, we're going to have to cross the rails. That's okay. Let's just do it in a way that's more attractive. That'll do. Doesn't interfere with the rails anymore. I know that was an issue. Was it with our Panama mission a long time ago? Where that was always a thing we had to be a bit careful of. Anytime you cross the road over the tracks and vice versa, it will interfere with the tracks. So let's see, just put a one on the right side there, and then it's gonna split down here, and then let's say down there, up there, just going all around there and then to the end. So it's not going to use that part of the circle line. It's not the best color, I can't really see it very well, but that's okay. It's not too much of a complex line. Falker coach. Sir. This. There we go. Also, this encourages the town to grow along these new roads, and also if you put a bus stop somewhere, you'll soon see buildings popping up around it. So the town does take that lead. Just put it as a bit of a mixed area here, but this will do for the depot. Just put it like that, since the road is at a bit of an angle. Then let's buy just a few again. See how it responds to that. Good, so maybe it will entice a few more people, and then we can make money off them doubly from the coach and from the train. So everything else is running smoothly. We have steel waiting, we have iron waiting there. The iron train is almost full. We have steel waiting. We might need another ship, to be honest. Yes, so I'm glad I bought the cheap locomotive there. The bridge is progressing though, that's awesome. Of course it doesn't look like the real thing, which has those red girders, but this is a nice bridge nonetheless, especially since our company is building it. And of course it will allow ships to pass. I think in this middle part you can see it's going upwards a little bit. Let's take a trip on the ship here and just have a look at the environment. While I have some more tea. Wait, something happened. Now I need to exit this. There we go, Frontenac. I thought it might be one of the faster locomotives. We're almost at the deadline there. Actually, let me just have a look. Stop for a moment. Obviously, it's still ticking over since every unit of steel is something that we delivered by ship. I'm wondering now, the problem with this is as soon as we finish the bridge, I wonder if that won't end the test bridge mission where we need the 60 kilometers an hour locomotive, but we don't have one that can do it. No, I don't know. It couldn't be that because obviously we can't do it if there is no locomotive, so maybe we can still continue with the tests. Otherwise I'd have to stop the ship now. The new Frontenac, is it really necessary? Not really, it's a passenger ship anyway. And like they said in the introduction, the ferry is making people seasick because of the rough waters here, so that's the whole reason we're getting the bridge. This will probably be the last journey actually. Yes, so okay, what I must do is we have to think a bit ahead here. Once the bridge is built, there'll be no more demand for steel on this end of the water. So already we have 70 waiting there. Good grief, they're not wasting any time. So the steel train now should actually go to the tools factory. So let's just have a look at this route here now. That's going to be a thing. We'll have to double this part of the track now. Yes, we're going to have to, just for easing the flow here. Otherwise we're going to have a lot of waiting happening. So this one is already doubled, but I'm not counting this side of the track as being part of it. We're talking about the right side now. So I just want a separate line coming off of that one. And then we'll put some signals and so on. The old story that we're used to. And then this one obviously splits off here, so it will just continue following the other one right back to the station. Let's just have a look. Almost there now. Good, so now I can just join it again. Doesn't have to be the fastest. That's so horrible. What am I doing? Doesn't have to be the fastest turn here, but that's okay. Good. Now, yes, I think this signal here is going to have to move now. Let's just move it a bit back, put it there, and then we don't need too many signals here. This is not the busiest track here. Okay, now we have to be cautious since there is already a signal here. I can actually just put one on the other side. They're close, but it's okay. It's not an issue. Then we'll put another one somewhere around this area, ignoring the outer line completely now, and then just put one more there. So that should work. I think that'll be it. Now all I have to do is tell the steel train to actually change its route. So I'm going to delete the, what is this, central, and just add that one. Let's have a look if the route is correct. Now I have to just tell the iron train to forget about the waypoints that I created before. You see, now it does do this whole thing here. Okay, delete this. Just create a gap there. Force it to use the other ones. Good. I could have just used another waypoint, but this is just simpler. I think that works all the way. Yep. It shouldn't be a problem. And then if we just go back to the steel train, not the line, the actual train, it's going full now. Turn it around. Even if it goes against the flow of traffic, or it's going empty, we need it to go full. Good, there's no point of sending it with nothing. On the other hand though, it stopped producing steel until it recognizes the new line now. Ah well, and it goes back empty anyway. as long as the ship keeps moving the steel. We really could use more missions that include ships, especially like a mission that requires you to mostly use ships. That would be very interesting. Although I have to say now, that was actually why I had the mods on now. With the new patch, they actually allow you to tweak the lay of the land a lot more than before. Because, you know, if you generated a map, random map, you'd always only get a relatively small river. But now if you go into the config file, which is maybe one thing I can critique a little bit, because not everyone is interested in messing around in the config file, but you can do that, and I just looked it up. There's a few threads, I think Steam threads. Oh, my alarm is going off on this end now, telling me I must stop rambling. But there's a few threads on Steam, I think, about getting that config file to give you a nice result. So then you can edit, for example, the width of the rivers and the hilliness and all of that sort of thing, which actually can give you really interesting maps with big rivers, almost like oceans. And in that sense, you can really start to make use of ships more. So if I ever do another random map series of this game, I'll do that for sure. I've already experimented with that, and I really like the results. Obviously, the random map will still generate these ridiculously long bridges over the water, but all that you do is install the no costs mod there, and then delete it, and then reload the game without the no costs mod, and then Bob's your uncle. So this should complete this, and then we'll end the episode and wrap it up on a good point. Fulfill the special request, so we got the medal there, and
the bridge is finished. Now we just have to see to it that people trust the construction despite the disaster on the Tay. The more often the bridge is crossed, the more reliable it will seem.
I don't like that they say it will seem more reliable. We don't want it to seem more reliable, we want it to be more reliable. Complete at least 5 trips with a passenger train between Edinburgh and Kirkcaldy over the course of 1 year. So that means it's going to have to be a very fast train. This is, I think, then where the 60 kilometers an hour comes in. It must be. There's nothing else left except the £1 million from the tools. So that makes more sense, because why would we want to move 60 kilometers an hour coal? That doesn't make sense. So, okay, let's have a look. Empty trains are of no use to anybody, and you certainly can't earn any money that way. Build bus lines in the cities, already done on the one end, so that passengers can reach the train. So again, they're teaching you how to use the whole passenger bus system, just like it was with the whole Tesla mission. More than one train will be necessary to perform this mission, and for that obviously we'll need money, and that's where the tools now come in. More than one train will be necessary. Expand the route between with a second line or build sidings. We'll probably build a second line, but not with a bridge, obviously. We can only have a single track there. So the ship is now scrapped also. That's a pity for my ancestor there. There's no use of this boat anymore. No use of the line. And since we have the bridge, why would we want to ship things? So I'm actually going to tell the ship to be sold now. It's a pity, but there we go. Then in the next episode, wow, what's happening here? 144. You see, we're already well on the way, because now I can actually increase the capacity there. And then, of course, since more people are coming from Livingston and Falkirk, more people will want to go to Kirkcaldy as well. So that's a great thing. So that's for the next episode. Thank you for watching, and have a fantastic day.